Hello and welcome to the Furreal podcast, the show that discusses music, film, and most importantly, furries. I'm here today with two guests on the first episode. I'm very excited. I am brought with KusakiDesu and Klua, also known as GucciFeline. How are you guys doing today?
Hey, good, thanks, man. Good to be here, man.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm really keen. Yeah, I'm doing good.
First episode, like I'm shitting myself, but we're good. We're good.
We're all good, man. I love it.
It's chill. It's good.
So before we start, how you guys been doing recently? You know, I mean, I was looking at like COVID stuff, and I mean, both of you guys are from like Australia, aren't you? So like, yeah, COVID's like it's still obviously an issue, but like it's not as big as like the UK or like the US. Like it's really died down, hasn't it?
No, it's definitely died down where we are. There are particular things that just make it difficult to do anything. But we do hear a lot that happens over in the US and the UK, and we kind of go, oh, well, man, this is a real serious thing. And I think we kind of take it for granted. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things where we complain about the conditions and the social distancing and the state lockdowns, and we kind of say, oh, well, this really sucks. But then we kind of look at the other side of it, where we look at other places that didn't do that kind of thing or did it later on.
Yeah,
exactly.
But even then, there's been other things, other times where, like I say, Kusaki was actually going to come over up to my state and visit. About I think it was 2 weeks prior.
Yeah, two weeks prior. It was like we had 100 days of no new cases, and then we just had like a small cluster of like 10 people pop up from like hotel quarantine.
Cluster I think maxed out at about 17, and they immediately just went.
That's insane. Yep. Like 17 people. Yeah. That's so small to me. I mean,
for us, it's such a big thing. It's such a huge cluster, and it ends up being such a massive thing when it becomes only 17 people.
I mean, people in the UK are just really selfish. That's why we haven't sorted out. I mean, spoilers though. I actually did get COVID. Like, I did get COVID. Like,
oh really?
Yeah, like a month and a bit ago. So I have like theories as to how I got it. Like, before anybody jumps to conclusions, I wasn't at parties. I wasn't like being a dick. I work at like a retail shop, so I've come in contact with a lot of people there. And that week I was skating and I fractured my foot and I had to go to a hospital. And that's so I was basically in two high risk areas. And then the next week I got COVID the next week, and I was like, you know what? Like, I'm not even surprised. Like, I'm really not surprised.
Yeah, we could be COVID brothers in this call now. I had it back in January, early. Yeah, this was before it was a big thing, and we had no clue. It was just it just happened. I just got really, really, really sick. I just stayed home the entire time. I didn't even go to the doctor. But I have never ever been as sick as I was back in January. And later on, after I went to the doctor's, got a blood test afterwards, and went, man, this really, really sucks. And afterwards, I got a call from UQ, and they said, can we take more of your blood for research purposes? It's the easiest $99 I've ever made.
Let's go. No, it was weird though. I like lost I didn't really have. I was like probably really unwell for like 1 or 2 days, and then the rest for like a week or two, I just couldn't taste or smell anything. I found it so fucking weird. Like, it was so weird. Because that's like one of the main symptoms, like that. Well, at least we have in the UK, is that like you lose your taste and smell. And I was like eating like toast, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was like drinking orange juice and it just tastes like water, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's just so weird to me.
So weird. That's so foreign to me. I did get the rash, but I didn't get the I never get the lack of taste, which I got lucky with, I guess. Because I love food, man.
I've managed to avoid it.
That's good.
Luckily. We've had a couple of days of no cases, so hopefully I can go visit Klua in January, I'm hoping. But yeah, I've been, masking up on public transport and obviously in places you can't socially distance and that sort of thing. But yeah, that's
I mean, that's the thing really. Like, we can go into this like a little bit later, but obviously I've only been a furry since like September of last year. So I haven't had any experience. Yeah, I haven't.
You're a young boy.
Yeah, I am. I haven't had an experience of like any conventions or anything like that. And I was meant to go one in May, because we have the only kind of main big one we have in the UK is Confuzzled, and I was meant to go to that in May, but then obviously COVID happened and like it just didn't. And it was interesting as well, because I was meant to go and see Brockhampton the day before. So basically, yeah, me and my girlfriend were gonna make it like a weekend away, and we were gonna go see Brockhampton on the Friday, and then go for a day to the convention on the Saturday, and it was just gonna be so sick. And I was like, it literally lines up perfectly. And now it's the Brockhampton gig's been rescheduled, and obviously so is Confuzzle, and I'm like, oh well, that's not a thing anymore. But, yeah.
I saw Brockhampton in January.
That's so cool. I saw them. I've seen them before. I saw them at the Longitude Festival I went to in Dublin, where I lost my phone. Oh, yeah. That was an interesting story.
Oh wow!
It was basically the day I got to because obviously I'm based in England, but me and my friends got a plane to Dublin in Ireland for this festival. It was a sick ass festival though. In the day before the festival, some guy biked past me and like nicked my phone out of my hand. It was awful. Probably one of the worst experiences I've ever had. It was horrible. And then but it was kind of like cool. Like, I had to live in the moment because I spent the entire time just fucking like, had a disposable, you know what I mean? And just like took photos on a disposable. And I had a flip phone just in case I lost anybody, but like, it was just really nice. I don't know. I just kind of like didn't take any videos or anything and just like lived in the moment and didn't like see it through like phone screen. It was kind of sick.
That's good because every time I take film at a festival or at a music concert, I've never gone back and looked at it.
Yeah, same.
I've never even saved it to my computer. I've never done any of that. I don't know why I insist every single time I see someone I really like
is just take like a single photo and then just put my phone away and then just watch the rest of the gig. Like I've been at that many gigs now that it's just like I'd rather just enjoy it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I think we've like, established a little bit. So let's go through like kind of what you guys make. Let's start with you, Kusaki. Like what kind of stuff do you make that's like creative, and how's that linked to the furry fandom as well?
So I do both DJing and graphic design. So I've got like a uni degree in graphic design. That's my full-time job outside of this. But I also do. I started getting into doing logos for artists in the fandom as well, which I'm really really enjoying. So yeah, like I did a free logo giveaway recently for people and that sort of thing. I really like the difference between doing like a traditional like business sort of client as opposed to like a furry artist, because I can kind of get a bit more artistic and creative with it.
I totally get that.
Yeah,
because I mean it's like the same with like when commissioners like say, oh yo, you can pay a certain amount and I'll do like an experimental kind of piece for you. It's cool because it like I can use my design skills and try and make a logo that represents, I guess, their artistic style. So I really like exploring that, like as opposed to doing something that's just like like a coffee shop or a government client where it's very run of the mill sort of by the numbers sort of design. Whereas doing it for artists, I can get a bit more of that flair in there and kind of really capture what they do with their logo. That's going to be obviously, as a watermark on 99% of their artwork. Yeah. So you got to make sure that it kind of like establishes who they are and the kind of like represents the kind of stuff they make as well. So it's interesting.
Absolutely. Like branding should encompass, everything that, it's basically like that whole principle of a, seeing a book before you read it sort of thing. Like I don't agree with the whole like don't judge a book by its cover before you've read it sort of thing. I'm like, what about the person that just designed the book's cover? I'm that guy.
Yeah, like, that's a good point actually.
Exactly. I mean, and then other than that, I also DJ, do music stuff.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, so I run a I'm not the one that's the head of it, but I do an event that we haven't been able to do this year because of COVID, but an event called Furreal in my city. Mm-hmm. So it's just basically like a furry nightclub that I DJ at. I DJ at a couple of other different places, but everyone that attends are all furries. We're all furry DJs and that sort of thing. So we were running that every 3 months here. Mm-hmm. And then I was meant to be playing at a couple of conventions, like furry conventions this year. But it's all kind of slowed down because of COVID. So I'm hoping, 2021, I'll be able to.
I mean, that is still interesting though. Like, we'll come back to that though, right? Because I feel like
absolutely.
I think we need to talk about like Kalua, right? So, what kind of stuff do you make, Kalua? Because obviously, I think you do like music stuff as well, don't you? You do music.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am zero. I have 0% creativity with my hands when it comes to art.
Yeah, same.
Or anything like that. Man. I cannot. The only thing that closest with is on a guitar, man. So I am Kalua. I make music. I'm doing so for about, I would say, over a decade now, which is probably about the same time I've been in the fandom. I started off just writing and doing stuff for myself, and I got into a small competition back in the day, which was like an oceanic, so it's an Australia and Oceanic writing competition, and I ended up winning. And the guy who came second is now he's the creative director for Sony.
Yo, that's what?
Wow.
That's wild.
So the creative director from Sony came second in the Oceanic competition, and I came first. Through that was an opening that I basically got my foot in the door as soon as I could. Mm-hmm. Him and I became friends. So he wasn't at that position at the time, but he was quite high up. He was in there. So we got together. We started talking. And bit by bit, we got into the situation. It was just really cool. But it's that kind of thing where you don't know where it's gonna go. But connections and networking is a big part of what I do as well. Which is the reason probably why a lot of people you don't hear of a lot of people in the background. Which I am that guy in the background, and we write music for other people.
Oh,
that's
sick! Okay.
all we do.
That's
so
cool.
our guys here, we're not at the forefront. We're not performers, so some of us are performers, but that's not what we're mainly for. So say, for example, you are an artist, you want someone else to write music, you don't have time to do anything for you. You go out and you put out an advertisement to say, hey, my name's blah, 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 I want to make an album like this. This is the kind of style I'm after, what do you guys got? And that is the opening that we get in briefs. So we get big lists about once a month of particular people that are looking for particular styles. Say, for example, new artist called blah, blah, wants an album. Sounds like Sam Smith wants to make a new album based on love.
Yeah.
It's just an example. So we will either go through our repertoire of the songs that we've made back in the background, or we will specially make songs to cater for that. It's difficult when you are all the way in Australia, where you don't have. I did get the invite to go to Sweden. I have not done that just yet because it's A, Sweden, and B, right now COVID. Impossible at the moment. So usually you get into teams. The teams are usually comprised of 2 writers, 1 lead, and a producer. So it's usually only 1 producer in these teams, and you just smash out a song. You go for, you do the whole thing. You do mixing, mastering, you do all of the vocals, you do everything, put it all together, shoot it off, and see if they like it.
That's a
yeah. So that's the kind of thing that I do. It's not something that I advertise greatly, especially in the fandom. Been in the fandom since about 2008 doing music. I've performed with Fox and More in the past. I almost had a gig with Pepper Coyote. I've done so much. I'm at that point where it's like, I don't need to do it anymore. It's been really, really fun. I've DJ'd at cons. I've done Convergence, Mid-Fur, Furdu. I did Furwag when it was open. And I feel like I kind of just, excuse the language, but I kind of just blew the load. in those years, that small period of time, I just did friggin' everything in the fandom. Yeah. I took a good step back because it was just taking a lot of my time. I focused on the career, which I can do a bit better now. Do my own stuff, do my own freelance thing. I had a small band that I don't really play with anymore, but still, it was a nice thing that happened. Oh man, it's just in being back and being at a forefront where I can see all the other creatives starting to get more momentum. Because back when I was doing it. Back when I was trying to get out in the fandom more so, no one was doing music. The only people doing music were DJs. Yeah. And it was tough because I just didn't know who to network with and who to work with. seeing it these days and seeing how prominent social media is and how people are getting their work out via social media, I'm finding artists, I'm finding people who are in the fandom and like the game and like the they're in the game. They're doing music and they're really concentrated. They're not just they're really creating. They're putting stuff out there and they're putting themselves out there as well in the hopes of either just doing it for themselves and just saying, hey, this is what I've got, or even like taking commissions. Don't see the latter too often, but still, like, man, very creative, like, musicians, get out there, man. We're here. Like, we out here. It's not just only for artists.
And this cat can shred. Oh, So I've been I've been working on, like, I do a little bit of production, but not like to the same extent as Kahlua. But like I kind of do, like my own personal music and that sort of stuff. But yeah, I finished up a song recently and I couldn't figure out how to finish it. And he's like, send the instrumental my way. And I did, and he sent it back. He put a guitar solo on it. I can't wait to release this song. It just really gets me every time.
Yeah, so I don't know if there's going to be like a preview that we're going to put on the podcast, but man, it bangs. That song, Kusaki,
I mean, you can if you want
so
to. You can.
Good.
I can.
You can pop that in. Oh, dude, it sounds so good. Like the vocals that Harbo did, and the vocoder. Who did the vocoder again?
I worked with two other people in the fandom, Haribo Arts and Billuby Arts. They both did the vocals, and yeah, I'm so happy with the song.
I mean, Kahlua, like 2008, like I was like 8 years old then. That is mad to me. Like that you've been. I said I'm 20, so like.
Oh, okay.
I was born.
Making me feel old.
I was born in the millennium, so I was born in 2000. So like. That's like me, but like with people who are like born in like 2006. People who are born in 2006 are like 14 now. Like that's weird to me. Like that. You should be like a baby, man. Like that's so weird.
Yeah, it was weird. People who were born in the 2000, I was jealous because you never have to try and remember your age.
Yeah, it's easy. It's nice and easy, 2020, I'm 20.
It's like 2020, you're 20. 2021, you're 21.
Yeah, mine was kind of similar with like 2008. I was in year 8, so like whatever year I was in was the number at the end. Sort of thing,
yeah.
I started school in 2000.
That makes complete sense.
So now it doesn't really apply now because I'm not at school.
So it doesn't work anymore. It's like, what year are in? Year 18?
What year is it?
I mean, right, so clearly going back to the like kind of you kind of producing and like making music for other people kind of sparks a conversation about like what the kind of did you ever get do you get credited for the stuff that you make for other people?
There are two ways you can go about it. You can either go for credit, which means you get credited on whatever that you have made, and you get royalties after that. So your name is on it permanently.
Yeah.
Permanently and forever. So you can choose to sell it that way, which means that the initial purchase price is much, much, much lower, pretty much zero. So you don't get anything from it straight away, but if it's something that does end up hitting the big times, you know that your name is permanently on it and you do get royalties from then on.
Yeah.
The other way of going about it is outright purchasing, which is the main way that we do it. So the main way we do it is that you just purchase everything. You purchase the rights to the music, the rights to the lyrics, everything. You don't even get credited. That's it. Song goes, you get a nice lump sum of money, but then that's it.
That's it, yeah.
So you've got that choice. So it's one of those things where unless you are 100,000,000% that this song is going to fly and stay on the charts and be one of those classic songs that's going to come up and be used in social media and advertising, it's going to come up in say like playlist and best of albums, then put your name on it. Yeah. Because otherwise you're not going to get anything from it, and that work can go. So it works like a double-edged sword. You either have the choice of doing it one way, risking it, or doing it the other way. Like, you could also shoot yourself in the foot the other way around. You could sell off as the full price, get the nice lump sum, and it ends up being one of those songs that's absolutely timeless across the next century. So it's like a guy I studied with, one of my lecturers. Him and his four brothers wrote the song "What's the Time, Mr. Wolf."
Yo, what?
So this Australian dude and his four brothers wrote "What's the Time, Mr. Wolf" back in the friggin' 80s. Every single year, this guy gets about 12K.
That's mad, dude. That's just like constant.
That's mad.
Yeah, constant kind of money. So when it's a classic like that, when it's something that's so big and so timeless,
exactly,
that's when you want your name to be. But you've got to be sure about that, because if you take that deal and that song flops, you're earning a couple $100.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Where that song could have earned you thousands straight off the bat.
I mean, you can kind of like apply the same thing to like film directors or like producers, that like they are such a big inherently part of the film, but they don't get a lot of like. I mean, directors aren't so bad, because film directors, a lot of people like say, "Oh, this film's directed by this person," but like, I think people just like see actors and they're like, "Yo, like they are like the heart of the movie," and it's like, no, like as a person who's a film student, it's like there's so much shit like behind that like happens that like creates the film, and like it's about. It's interesting that like obviously so many artists, like obviously for example ghostwrite or something, and all you see is the consumer just sees the artist singing and making and releasing the track, but behind closed doors there's a lot more to it than just that, and I think that can go for any kind of like medium.
Okay. Yeah, for example, like in Napoleon Dynamite, John Heder, the main dude, $500.
Whoa!
He got $500 for that role in Napoleon Dynamite.
I didn't even know that.
That's mad.
Insane.
Yeah, I didn't even know
he's
that.
He's like an iconic character now as well. Like
he's absolutely iconic. That's one of the biggest indie films ever to be released, and this dude.
Like he didn't get any royalties on it at all.
No, that's it, because he just got like a lump sum for it as well. But because he signed his name, he may be the actor in it, and at least you have that behind you, because you can't forget a faith. An actor is an actor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's it. So they absolutely know that you're credited in the film. Otherwise, who's it gonna? You can't have a film and not say who's in it. So
exactly.
Can't get away with it there. But with music, where you've basically, imagine like you've written the script and then you've sold the script to someone else.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Damn.
So when I was go back to like kind of the graphic design stuff that you do, Kusaki, what's the kind of like most like kind of obviously Kalu was talking about how he kind of beat someone from like Director Sonny. Have you ever done something like that big with your graphic design? Have you worked for like any like? Obviously, I'm not going to be like, you must have worked for someone big. I'm just saying, like, have you ever kind of had an experience with like a kind of bigger company or a client or something, or like?
Oh yeah, I mean, like we have bigger clients at my job and
your
that
job,
sort of thing.
That's fair.
But I mean, people I've worked with in my freelance time. Who is the name? Are you guys familiar with I don't know if they're YouTubers, Boy in a Band?
Oh
Dan
shit!
Ball.
Yeah.
So I used to work for them. I started off my design career with this rapper None Like Joshua, who did like remixes of video game tracks. I think he blew up with Affix's Zelda Step remix. So I used to be his graphic designer for a couple of years, and then through networking through him, I did a couple of things for a couple of Monster Cat artists that I worked for Boy in a Band. I've done album artwork for Vila, Dan Ball. Heaps of the guys within that circle of like YouTuber musicians sort of thing, where they operate with that sort of thing. So like a lot of my artwork, it all kind of relates back to music in some sort of way.
You should do a little bit of stuff for I think you did mainly social media for Living's Tombstone.
Oh yeah, Living Tombstone. So my partner Mixie goes way back with Living Tombstone. We went to one of his gigs in one of the other states in Australia, I think, and in Sydney. And then from there we networked, and I pretty much worked on his social media for a whole year, just getting paid to post memes. So it's crazy just the amount of people you meet just through like networking through this fandom. It's just like there's so many people in it, and you know, just different people you can meet through other people. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, that's exactly kind of the like one of the core elements of the podcast is like I'm networking with like so many different creatives in order to kind of for them to kind of be able to share their creativity on the show as well, which is kind of really nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Living Tombstone is sick. Yeah, what's that song? It's like the My Ordinary Life one's like so sick, and obviously like samples Nietzsche, which is like a really good anime as well. I really like that song. Yeah.
But yeah, no, when I kind of pull out that boy in a band card, everyone's like, oh. He's a really nice dude. Really nice dude. He's kind of slowed down the past couple of years, but haven't talked in a while. But that's how everything kind of goes. But yeah, that was pretty much my start. Was doing YouTube thumbnails for those sort of guys, artwork for just different songs coming up. So
that's so cool.
Yeah, I've kind of got a little collection of just unreleased songs that they never brought out as well, which is kind of cool to sit on and have.
You can't leak that shit.
Kind of like
can't leak that shit, though.
Yeah. I mean, I have gotten permission to drop a couple of them in like DJ sets and that sort of thing. Yeah. So yeah, that's always cool to be able to do. I mean,
what are your experiences with, like, I know this completely changes the subject. This is for both of you. So, like, obviously in the UK, we only have like a few little conventions. Well, we have one big one and a few like little ones dotted here and there. And I mean, compared to the US that have like multiple in like different states. Is it the same in Australia? Like, do you guys have a lot of furry conventions, or is it more like you have like big specific ones that you would like? I've never attended any, so.
So like where I live, pretty much the only furry event is the Furreal thing. That I DJ for, but where most of the conventions is where Kahlua lives. So there's Furdo, Neon Fur, which is what I was meant to be playing at. Furdo's pretty much the biggest one, hey.
Furdo, yeah, it really went far. So
yeah,
I used to be. I still am friends with the two main guys, which was Drake and Oz. And these two dudes, they were absolutely awesome guys. They knew exactly what they wanted from the fandom and what the fandom wanted when it came to a convention. The first Furdo was 80 people. And then after that, people realized how much of a good con it was. These two guys put 110% of their time into this project, made everything themselves, did everything themselves, invested properly into it, looked at the legalities of it. They did so much to make this con what it was. And I used to go over their place all the time. I used to go over. I helped them with a couple of projects. We were just painting things or like making props for all of their for their themes, and just seeing the amount of work that they put into it just really tugged on my heartstrings. Like, these guys were really serious about the project, and I'm really glad that this one just flew past all other projects. It flew past all other.
Yeah.
Seeing what it is now, like seeing it start up, like what is it? I think
it's cool when it starts from like humble beginnings like that.
Really humble beginnings, and people realized how much of a good con it was. So and I ended up just going every single year. I think I've only missed out on like one. And it's just so good. The only other one that was the bigger ones was known as Midfur or Convergence, and that was down in Melbourne. It was one of those things where it was big for what Australia was, but I kind of felt sorry for the people from the US that came over expecting a convention like NFF or like AC, and they get there and it's like 300 people.
Yeah,
and we're like,
we don't really have.
This is all we got. For what it is, like it's just blown up big time. The fandom as a general. There's so many new guys coming into it, and it makes me scared because I haven't been to Furdo in 3 years now. It makes me scared to go because there's be so many new faces that
it's gonna be so big.
Yeah, that's it. I remember when I started up, it was myself and about 12 other people in a coffee club. That's all we knew what was in Brisbane.
Yeah, and it's so weird how things can like just grow like
it's
that.
So weird having to go, and then you look at the I think there's a meet that happens in South Bank every week, every Tuesday. I don't even know if it's happening now, but it happened for a while, and there were good 60 to 80 people per week. It's like, I know 2 of you people. That's it. I don't know anyone. Convention-wise,
that's pretty much
there isn't much. Yeah,
that's pretty much the attendance of the Furreal thing. In the States, I mean, we tried to do like conventions here, but it just doesn't. We don't really have the infrastructure for it, and there's not really much reason for people to come here when they can. Australians can just go to Furdo, go to the one in. I think there's one in Perth called WAF or something.
I think WAF started up. Furwag was a long one, but that was that only ran for about 2 years.
Who's cracking open a cold one?
Oh, I'm cracking up at a cold one. So Bundaberg, I've been looking for this for years, man. I've been looking for alcoholic sarsaparilla for friggin' ages.
I remember you telling
makes me sound like I'm 80 years old, but man, it is good.
I remember you
rum
telling
and
me that
sarsaparilla.
night. You're like, you were like, oh, you got to try this. I'm like, all right.
I would crack one open, but it's like it's 9:45 in the morning for me, so I mean probably not.
I'm just drinking water out of a Supreme water bottle right now.
Okay, that's a good transition, right? Let's talk about fashion, because like we all fuck with fashion like a lot. So like to me,
absolutely,
yeah. To me, fashion is a way that kind of majorly links with my furry side. Like I plan like the fits for my commissions. I send like I have like collages, and I leave like write a piece on like why this fits like a thing, and usually I try and represent the fit with the album. So I always link a music album in an outfit to most, if not all, of my commissions. I mean, I'm looking at my big poster of the Life of Pablo commission that I got.
Yeah, no,
that
was cool.
Like love. Shout out to Sir Kaikyo for doing that commission. That's like one of the best commissions I've ever got. So do you guys feel like you also have a big kind of like link from like fashion with furries? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Because like for me, I was kind of always, I guess, on the fringe of it with getting more into the fandom, and finding the kind of subculture of like fashion fur stuff was what made me kind of delve deeper. I mean, it's how Kalura and I met.
Same.
I
it was so cool.
I think I posted my sneaker collection to Twitter because I'm a massive sneakerhead. Ask me anything about Jordans and Nikes, I could pretty much tell you. It's like I can't remember like algebra or maths, but I can remember like what year Michael Jordan wore like the Jordan 4s to win, this championship. Which actually came up recently.
We need to speak to that again. Speak about that again when it came to the guavas. We need to speak to that.
Oh yeah,
keep going though.
Yeah. We'll get back to that. But yeah, like I posted my sneaker collection to my furry Twitter. I think Solidog commented on it. He's like, "Yo, are you in the hype Telegram chat?" I went, "No, I'm not." And he's like, added me, and that's how I met Kalura, and how I met a bunch of other more people.
That's so sick.
And then just once because I was kind of always on the fringe of it, especially like my partner Mixie, she's a big furry artist and that sort of thing, but I kind of didn't find my spot within the fandom until that happened. So like once I found all that side of it, I was like, I love this. So I pretty much do the same thing. All of the commissions I get are all outfits I have. Like the last 2 pieces I got from Big Round Lion, where I got like
I'm so jealous, dude. I've been trying for a slot from them for so long, man. They keep releasing them at 4 a.m.
We can
set my alarm at like 3 in the morning. Wake up,
that's mad.
Message them. Yeah, see, I was like, no, I'm determined to get this slot.
It's fine for me because like I think they're on the same time zone as me.
Because
they're based in the UK. But for me, I got paid. I didn't get paid from work like the week before. And I was like, I don't have enough money for this shit, but I will next week. But I'm like, the slots are gone, so I just haven't had time to do it. But the way they draw fits, holy fucking shit, it's so cool. I love
the detail. I'm literally looking at it above my desk right now. I've got that one framed. I got another piece by I think it's Leon Spotty Dog in the Travis SB Dunks. Just I love this part of it, and that's how I met how Kalura and I met.
Well, it's good that you can like connect.
2 years ago now.
Yeah.
In the chat, it's been good.
Yeah, I was hella jealous.
Yeah, I mean,
I will admit, I was.
Right, obviously, I'm like GucciFeline. It's in your art, like it's obviously a big part of your like furry identity. I'm assuming fashion.
Fashion is, yes. The Gucci part was a complete joke. Like that was just something I needed a handle of some sort.
Yeah.
What's fancy? Gucci. What else is fancy? Cats, Gucci. Stick them together, slap it on, make a header with
Gucci
some
mane,
of the guys.
Lions have manes.
There you go. Yeah. He's got it. It was just I don't have a single Gucci piece. I will admit, man. Not a single one.
Yeah, you're more
neither.
you're more of a Supreme guy.
Yeah, that's it. So a Supreme and an Off-White,
Yeah,
dude. I'm into that hype stuff. I like their pieces. I don't usually like the weird side of it. I like anything that you can make look a bit more contemporary and streetwear wise, rather than like the full 100% hype. Don't want to tip on there because like, people are like, oh, you're hype. He's like, oh, I just have a lot of like hype clothing.
I was gonna say, we both kind of have that thing of we'd rather like, you know, like when you see people just wear an outfit where it's like head to toe drip, branded, if you will, and it's like they don't know how to put an outfit together. I totally get it. It's like exactly I focus on it's like the big round line piece. Like I've got a shirt that's like pink and it has stripes and whatever, and I wear that with the shoes, but the shirt's not hype, but the shoes are. But I would rather wear a fit where the whole thing's put together. It's like, yeah, you know how to dress rather than...
You got it. You absolutely got it. Rather than
head to toe, like, oh, Supreme boonie, Off-White hoodie.
And it's like
Supreme
Balenciaga
pants,
shoes. And it's just like... I completely get that though. Like, I think... Obviously, like, I love like hype beastie kind of like fucking clothing.
Oh yeah,
but I'm not gonna buy a t-shirt if I think it looks like shit. I'm not just gonna buy it because of the brand. Like, because why?
Exactly.
I'm not really a massive reseller, so I'm like, why would I? Buy something I'm not gonna wear. One of my favorite pieces of Supreme, which is my first piece of Supreme I got, was a Supreme piece, and it was like probably one of the closest things to furry we're ever gonna get at Preem, and it was like. It's like a photo of like a dog, and it says "Remember your friends."
Oh, yep.
That's a fucking sick T-shirt. That's one of my favorite T-shirts ever. I only wear it out to like restaurants and stuff because I don't want to get it fucked up and shit. And I remember when I went to that festival and I saw the guy wearing my T-shirt, like some other guy, and I was like, "How the fuck could you wear that to a gig like a festival? Like your shit's gonna get fucked." Like I was like, "Damn."
It's like seeing anyone wearing like really nice shoes at a festival, especially a festival.
Yeah, I have to wear Vans to a gig.
It was so
I
funny.
always wear Vans at a gig, but you know, I can't. It's like you're not there to. No one's there to look at your feet. They're there to look at the stage. So I'm like, I'm not gonna.
Who are you gonna flex on at a gig?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's so funny because I wore my old like skate shoes there. And I remember, it's okay, I'll wash them. I'll be able to wash them, and you know, because they were like muddy as shit. I was like, I'll be able to wash them and skate them. They were like crusty, like I couldn't move them. They were like solidified because there was so much mud and shit in them. Yeah, I mean,
there's a time and a place.
Yeah, there's a time.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm still always one for like, you know, wear your sneakers. Like I have shoes that some people will go like, oh, well, why would you wear that out? And I'm like, well, I would rather enjoy it than just have it sit in the cupboard.
Totally.
Exactly that.
What would you say, like, out of you two, like, what were your favorite SBs? Because I mean, like, Chunky Dunkies kind of go hard though. Like, they were like, I love those, but I mean, also at the same time, like, holy shit, like the resale price on this, like, when they were first like a massive, they were like, I swear they were like $1,000, you know, like I swear they were. Like, there were a lot of money.
I think we both agree what our favorite SBs are, Kusaki.
Yeah, and we both have them.
We both have them. We both paid resale for both.
That's the most I've paid for a shoe. Oh, probably. In recent times at least. The Travis Dunks.
I knew it. I had a feeling.
Yeah. I mean, they're sitting right next to me now. I was wearing them today.
Mm-hmm. If I turn around, I'll see them on my boxes. Oh, there you are, baby.
Yeah.
There you are, baby. I see you over there.
I mean, the thing is, I'm not
who's got more Travis sneakers at this? Is it me?
No, you for sure. Like I've only got 2 Travis sneakers.
Yeah. I mean,
I've got the Dunks and I've got
merch.
them ones.
Yeah, I've got the one highs, the one lows, the Air Force ones, and then the Dunks.
Oh, this guy.
I see. I'm not as a big sneakerhead as like clothes. Like I'll spend like a shit ton on clothes, but like shoes, my most expensive piece of like pair is the fucking like CDG Converse. So like I do not spend a lot of money.
The shoes
you got the Converse.
I got the shoes with the hearts on.
You got the Converse with the hearts.
They're a detriment to fashion. If you wear those, you know, you're just basic. I love them.
They've become a fashion meme in itself.
Yeah, literally. It's like if you wear play CDG, just like you don't deserve it. You know, I follow this really funny Instagram page. It's like called Fashion One because it's so fucking.
Oh yeah, I know the one.
Okay, that's an instant follow just for the name alone.
Yeah, literally just taking the piss.
I love those are the ones where they pay it like all the Rick Owens.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's good because they take the piss out of people like me who just like go CDG hard.
Yeah.
Like, but then they also take the piss out of people who are like lol, Rick Owens are like the best thing to ever exist. And I'm just like,
yeah, no, it's great.
I don't fuck with Rick Owens. I find him so boring and chunky. I don't know. Like, I respect you if you like Rick Owens.
There are
but
some
I
pieces.
I just don't vibe with them.
Yeah. So, yeah, for me, there's some pieces in Rick. Like, I really want a Rick Owens hoodie. I know it's like a really basic piece, but like there are pieces within his thing that I kind of like because it focuses. I find that with like tech wear, especially, even though it's all black, like it really focuses on like cut and fit and length and silhouette. Like that's the main focus. It's not focus on the colors and that sort of thing.
Yep. Wifey is pretty similar, hey.
Yeah. But yeah, like in terms of what I wear, I kind of go for, like skater, streetwear sort of thing. And I focus on kind of like earth tones with like one highlight color. Like mostly my highlight color ends up being pink out of mostly anything, or red.
For me, I'm just bright. Like anything bright for me.
Yeah.
Like
I've got a good amount of a lot of contrast here. So Kusaki a lot of earth tones. You yourself go for a lot of the big colors. Whereas I'm like kind of half and half. I like going for my neutral colors, my blacks, whites, and my grays, and then a color highlight on top of those. Like pick a particular one. Like
I mean, it's nice because like you talk about skate wear, Kusaki. Like I skate personally, and it's like nice that I can kind of wear a decent fit in like skating it as well. But like for me, like
absolutely.
Obviously Palace is a skate brand, and I completely get that. And obviously I buy Palace. It's like one of my favorite, probably the favorite brand for me right now. I do wear Palace stuff sometimes when I skate, but also there's some pieces that I'm like, my god, like I do not want to skate in this because if I bail, like I'm gonna fuck it up. Like one of my favorite pieces, I don't know if you saw it. It's like a Trifig with like a Jaguar on it.
Yeah.
So I got that. I got like the red version of that, and like I think I've only worn it like 5 times because I'm like, holy shit, like this is incredible.
Yeah,
I love it. It's so nice.
I've got the Travis SB skateboard that.
Shit! Yeah, you were showing me on a Telegram. Yeah.
I skate it, but I'm scared to skate the shoes because I don't want to ruin them. So I just I skate
like
the board.
The promo.
But I wear Vans or I wear SB Blazers, which are really really good because like. The SB Blazers just have the same insole as the Dunks, where it's got that like padded cushioning bit with your heel.
It is nice.
They're comfy for
it's
it.
Really
it's good. Like when you skate, like personally, like if I'm trying to ollie like a gap, or if I'm trying to ollie like a small stair set, it helps with like impact and stuff. But I mean the Travis Scott SBs, they like I watched the promo video for that, and they have like 2 layers, and I thought I found it really cool. Like
the skateboard has the same thing.
It takes it off.
Yeah, the skateboard has the same thing. So there's a hidden print underneath the paisley print. Mm-hmm. So it's black with like white paisley print, and then as you like kind of scratch it away as you skate on it, it's got like the Cactus Jack metal logo where it's like beige and grey underneath, which is really really cool. So it's the same as the shoes where it has that like tearaway sort of idea, which I really like. But then it's like I love the shoes too much as they are.
I've got a little archive pair of the Nike Vandal Supremes. They're not in my size, which really sucks. But it's one of those pairs that you're made to skate in. So it's like Vandal was like the first. I think that's what they were kind of going for skate wise before SB came along. I think. Yeah. And they just purposely just ripped a lot of the stuff off just to make it look good. And what's underneath is like a comic strip underneath. So you have like the first fabric, which is just like a lined fabric. And then under that is like a comic strip that's underneath. That's a different material altogether. I'm like, these are so cool.
That is sick.
Like, I mean, the Dunks started as like, there were 3 different Nike silhouettes kind of meshed into one because they originally just started as a high top, and they made them as like this set for like basketball and like different university colors back in the 1980s, like just after the Jordan 1 release. So it's like the Nike Vandal, I think the Nike Terminator, and the Jordan 1 kind of mixed together to make the Dunk. So they did like 8 pairs, and they didn't sell very well. They ended up in bargain bins, and then skaters bought them. And then after a while, Nike wanted to break into skating, and then they tried to make a couple of different shoes. I think it was the Nike Chodes. If you Google that, they look awful. They did not take off at all. That was their first attempt at skateboarding. It flopped.
Is that spelt how I think it's spelled?
Yeah, is that like,
it's spelled exactly how you think it is.
CHOAD.
It's spelled exactly how you think it.
My God.
And they just look awful. And then they went, hang on a minute. Yeah, they don't look very good. So, and then they realize that, wait a minute, the perfect skate shoe we've already made. So they just turn it into a low top, and they re-released the Dunk as a low top, and then they did a skateboard version, which is the SB. And then they padded the tongue, padded the sides, and then now we have the SB Dunk.
They look like they do look crazy. Like bargain bin shoes, I gotta say.
Yeah. So yeah, it pretty much Nike's failed attempt at making a skate shoe when they had their hidden gem already made previously, and it's just like, you know, because Dunks were just in bargain bins back in the day because no one bought them for basketballing, so skaters just ripped them up.
Going back to Palace, one of my favorite kind of like pieces of Palace clothing, well, not clothing even, my skateboard deck that I'm skating right now has got a furry element to it because I skate a Lucian, it's like a Lucian Clark 825, and it's just got a massive like photo of a lion fursuit on, like, and I was like, it was perfect for me because I previously skated a Lucian Clark deck and I was used to the 825, but then I saw his next design for the season. I was like, that's got a fucking fursuit on the back. Like, I need to buy that. Like I can't not buy that. So I've just bought it and shredded it.
That's
really
great.
Good. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I mean, it's interesting that how so many, obviously, half of the people listening to this, right, will be like, what the fuck's all this, like, Supreme?
What's all this then?
Yeah, like, and you know, that's the thing. It's just like, furries, like, it's got nothing to do with that, but it kind of brings people that have, like,
like
hobbies
there's
together.
There's so many niches within this niche.
Yeah,
that I found, like, there's subcultures within the subculture, and that's what I really like, because it's like there's music furries, there's fashion furries.
Oh yeah,
you know, shout out to Solidog with the FF Collective, you know.
Absolutely, it's such a good collection, man.
And just, you know, highlighting different artists that focus on, you know, different like fashion related pieces, and that's what started, you know, my little like Grail hit list of just different artists I need to commission. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've made my way through a fair amount of it at this point. So yeah.
Yeah, I've gone through different phases when it comes to what kind of artist to commission. It went from like realism was like the way I wanted to go, and then it went just toony. I think it's pretty much stayed toony, but then it's like toony with a little flavor and peppering of fashion as well.
Yeah, I like
all those artists. I'm just like, whoop, just tunnel vision towards them.
I mean, even I was like,
and then immediately check their commissions.
The first artist I ever commissioned, shout out Just Sketch. I also think they're potentially Australian based as well, or at least Oceania based. They were like, first person I ever commissioned. I looked up like fashion on Fur Affinity, and I saw somebody posted a piece that looked sick, and I was like, "Can you do this for me?" And they were like, "Yeah, sure. Like, send me some stuff over." And I was like, "Okay." So I've like planned this entire outfit out, and they were like, "Whoa, okay." And I had like the Preem CDG BOGO and like this like Champion jacket I own personally, and like in some Golf Wang fucking Vans. And then I was like, they were like, I'm not really that experienced in drawing fashion, but I'll like give you updates. And then they sent me it, and I was like, it's fucking dope. Like, it's so sick.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so a lot of the outfits that we commission, you and I, Kusaki, or actually all of us, a lot of the ones we commission, we own those outfits in person as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, it's like a personal connection, isn't it? So
yeah, exactly.
There's a big personal connection, but it works against you sometimes. I actually, so I get this random dude. He sends me a DM on Twitter, and he says, unrelated question, or completely random question. Do you actually have that? So he sent me the picture of one of my commissions and said, Do you have that hoodie IRL? And I went, yeah, why? He's like, I'm pretty sure I saw you at the shops with some other dude the other day.
Fuck.
And I'm like, oh no, are you sure you got the right guy? He's just like, yeah, you're from Brisbane, right? I saw you with some other dude with pink hair at the food court at this particular time. Yeah, and I went, oh no, I'm being doxxed. But it turns out the dude was pretty sweet. Like he was a good guy, and he was like, hey man, I know this chick that works at Off-White. Do you want up some belts? She's doing like a 50% off sale at the Off-White store down in Sydney. And he hooked me up like big time. But then at the same time, it's like, that was really specific.
That's kind of sus.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because you're not really like furry on main sort of guy.
Yeah, that's
definitely not. Yeah. So I don't post anything whatsoever.
I was going to say, because I regularly post like, here's fit pics and stuff.
I don't know how it happened, but it did.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I think the closest one is that picture. I'll link it here. That picture, that drawer we got of the two of us in our actual fits.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, that's the closest you ever get.
Yep.
I mean, just goes to show, like, furries are everywhere. Like, just, you gotta watch out.
Yeah, yeah.
You gotta watch out, man.
I mean, it's like, there's this time, like, a few years ago, this is before I was like, maybe it was a few years, maybe it was just, like, when I just became a furry. I mean, I got on the train, and somebody, like, sat, like, near me, was wearing, like, a furry and proud, like, hoodie, and I was like, dog, like, I gotta tell you, but I didn't. I just sat there, and I was like, you have no idea. Like, you have no idea. You're sitting right next to one of your kind,
Yeah, that's the thing.
Walk by this guy.
You never really know.
Oh no, you go first, Kusaki.
Like, you never kind of really know. Sometimes, and sometimes you'll find out, and like, just some people that aren't open with it, and then you find out they are. It's just like, oh, this is cool because I have another connection to this person now. In a way, even if it's just you both know that you are, sort of thing, and it's not publicly out there or anything, but it's just like it connects people together. It brings out another connection.
No, I get that totally.
It's cool.
I walked past a dude wearing one of the Furreal shirts. I didn't know him, he didn't know me, but I walked past him and I went, "Hey man, nice shirt." And he was like, he just had no idea how to react. He just kept walking.
Oh, it's like called out.
Yeah.
Called out, and then it's like, all right, see ya.
Okay, so I think we've talked a lot about fashion, obviously, and furry stuff. Probably fashion for the most part. But we should move on to the album choice of this week, which is Because the Internet by Childish Gambino. Okay, so what do you guys think of this album? Because obviously, Kusaki, it was your choice, but clearly you obviously listen to Gambino too, I'm guessing. So it's just like...
Oh, I am an absolute fan. I'm a massive fan. Probably not as deep as what Kusaki...
Yeah, because
the kind of stuff that
you were
Kusaki
talking in the
tells
Telegram.
me, I'm like, what?
I was like, yo, I fuck with Gambino. I used to listen to his stuff like loads. And then you were like, yes, there's like an entire like storyline behind the album. And I was like, yo, what the fuck?
Dude,
so just
this album is insane. Like he created, like, what I really love about it is he just created this whole world around it. Mm-hmm. There was obviously the script, the video clips that go with the script, the music videos, and then it also extends to the lyrical content, but then also like the interviews around the time, the live show. Just, he was basically doing like performance art for a good 2 years around this album release, because he was dressing as the main character in the script the whole time, and it's just, I love how deep he went with the art, because it made it just more than just the music. So it was almost like a world that you can live in if you want to. He did, I'm pretty sure he did installations of like the character's bedroom. Just so much content to just kind of really sink your teeth into. It's something that's been kind of really, I guess, inspirational to me in that sort of sense. And like, the more you delve into it, the more you realize there's connections with, his other projects, both before and after, in both like themes or just different stuff he sings about. Like, I mean, everyone loves the song 3005.
Yeah.
But then like on his album Awaken My Love, like Have Some Love is literally pretty much the same lyrical content as 3005, just repackaged into a different way.
I mean, he's incredibly talented. I mean, he's like a actor, musician, director. Obviously, he wrote. Did he write Atlanta, or did he just?
Yeah. So he wrote Atlanta. He wrote that with his brother.
I still haven't seen it, but I need to, and I think.
You need to get onto it. It's good. It's good.
I personally just associate that album with like, 2016 like summer, like just finished GCSEs as like a UK like exam thing. It's like a big thing. I just finished GCSEs and it was like the whole summer was just like red hot, and me and my friends just like sit on field and just like listen to fucking I the Worst Guys, and it was just like I literally have like, like Snapchat memories, like that memory comes up like every single thing of like me panning the like absolute boiling field, and it's just like I don't know, it was just so much compared to like COVID and shit. Like I missed like stuff like that like so much. So obviously that's kind of
music really brings back memories and that sort of stuff, like for sure. Like it has that ability to just like, like when you haven't heard a song for a while and you go listen to it again, and you kind of it's almost like, but I find that with like music and like you know, you just get transported back to where you were in a sort of sense.
Yeah.
Where when you first heard it, or your best memory related to a song and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I really like that with music.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump over to Clue. What would you say is your favorite track on the album, and why? Personally,
it's for the longest time been Sweatpants.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean,
for the absolute longest, I could bust out Sweatpants for you like right now, man. Don't make me do it, but I could.
Too.
It's just such a good song, and it without even knowing anything about the background of the track or background or even any context of the rest of the album, it by itself already paints enough of a picture about what it's about, and it just really nails home the kind of lifestyle that particular rappers would live or to brag about or show off about.
Yeah.
It's not incredibly obvious about where it's going, and it kind of nails it home when it gets to the very end, where I think it shows it in the video clip as where when he says, "I don't give a fuck about my family name."
Yeah.
And that part is like the pivotal point in that particular song, where it just shows that there's something else about this character, or there's something else about this guy who's been singing about being amazing, being rich, having all of these things, having all of these friends, and it goes on for so long, and then it just gets to a pivotal point at the end where everything's just turned on its head, where it kind of says there's a serious part about this story, there's actually quite a hurtful part about this story, and who this character is and what this guy is talking about, and it kind of just it makes you feel different the first time you hear it.
Yeah,
and then the next, when you listen to it again in context of itself, you kind of realize that this guy's just putting it on. You kind of it's just what that's just how I felt from the start, and then hearing all the stuff that Kusaki's been talking about the context of the rest of the album, really it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because that moment is kind of like it happens in three different parts of it, so it happens simultaneously in the song, in the music video, and in the script. That slamming down of the hand thing. And like the lyric before that is like they had to dump the Gatorade, and then it kind of has that like the strings that come after that are almost like he's having this like anxiety attack because he's realized that like, you know, he's flexing and all that sort of stuff, but he doesn't have any real connections, which is what the whole album's about, is about finding like a true connection, you know, like internet, web connections and that sort of thing. And yeah, that slamming down of the hand moment is breaking of that flexing outside persona, and you see kind of deeper into it where you realize that he's not okay, and that everything around him is like that moment is the start of kind of his existential crisis in the story, so to speak. Because from then on, like the next song is about like because like 3005 comes after that, which everyone assumes is a love song, but it's him singing about like, oh, I don't want to be alone. Maybe I can fill this void with someone else. And then after that, there's I think The Party, where he has a party and he's trying to do the same things again, but it just doesn't fill that void again, and he ends up having like a mental breakdown at the end of the song. And then, you know, it keeps going from there. But yeah, no, that song is definitely that kind of moment.
Yeah, one of the kind of biggest, obviously, structures of it is the fact that it's all like in numbered. It's all numbered. Like, I'm scrolling through it now, and it's like all kind of, like,
it's set in chapters.
Okay,
so to speak. Like the first section. Hold on, let me pull up the album so I can. Gives me a good idea. It's like the first section with like Crawl and World Star. The first one is just him, you know, flexing. World Star is where there's a lot of parts in it, both in the script and in Gambino's real life, where it kind of is a reflection. So like in World Star, the character hears someone getting shot outside a club, which him and his friends witnessed when they were in Atlanta outside a club. They saw someone get shot. And then, like, the character comes close to death, and that's what kind of starts this journey for him. Like, the worst guys then, from there, is him trying to get rid of those mental feelings by, you know, hanging out with his friends, but it just doesn't have that same sort of feeling for him anymore. Sweatpants, and then 3005 is him kind of going further on that. The Party, No Exit is him really going deep into that. And then Flood of the Navigator, Zealots of Stockholm is him kind of recovering from that, and then like Pink Toes is him falling in love with another character. Earth the Oldest Computer is him then, spoilers for the script, but like pretty much leading up to the character's death flashing before his eyes. And then Life the Biggest Troll is basically like kind of like the end credit song, but I like it as well because like in the lyrical book, like in the lyric book, in the CD and the vinyl, it says featuring Donald Glover, so it's almost like this like halfway.
That's sick. I didn't even know that. Like I own the vinyl
where it's like
yeah.
It's this halfway point where it's like it's that line where it's like halfway between Donny G and Gambino, like where's that line? And it's kind of like him splitting the persona into two separate characters, sort of thing. And it goes back to like that line in Sweatpants where he's like, "Oh, I'm winning," which is a reference to Charlie Sheen, which is a reference to the fact that there's Donald Glover, Gambino, and then the main character in the script is called the Boy, so it's 2.5 men, literally. Donald, like 2.5 men.
So cool. Yeah, I mean,
it's
like
really,
I said,
really cool.
I think he's a creative. He thinks a lot about what he does. He's acting, he produces, he directs, he makes music, and it's just like, I think it's just so much.
He's
talent
brought all of it together.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like he's some. Obviously, a lot of albums do storytelling, but I would say not to this extent of connecting an entire script to a record. If you know what I mean, I think that's I love that. I think it's great, and it's a very unique way of kind of representing kind of the feelings and emotions of the artist as well. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. And I guess I wanted to talk about it as well because, like, especially in 2020, and the whole theme of the album being connections and the internet. Like, I mean, what we're doing here right now is connections through the internet with the podcast, and what the main thing we do we've found with this fandom is the connections we've made from it. So it's very kind of topical, just showing that like that the main thing, you know, we can really use this for when we kind of feel, you know, like how we talk about in the album, feeling alone, and that is the connections we've made through this, and people we've met, people we can talk to, and have those bonds, sort of thing. Yeah. I just found it, like really, really helped during COVID and all of us being stuck
I get
inside.
that totally.
People I've met, you know.
Yeah. Would you say, like, this is to both of you, I'll ask Kalua first just to switch over the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you say this is Gambino's magnum opus? Like, would you say it's his, like, kind of elite? Because I remember when I used to be, like, 16, I used to be like, oh, I think, is it Cowie or whatever is better? That's a bunch of shit. Like, that's not right. It is not. I don't think it's as good as Because the Internet. And I think Awaken My Love is also incredible. I think he's done it in a way that, like, he's kind of shifted his kind of style as well. Like, it isn't his kind of thingies. But what do you think?
It's see, I'm really caught between this album and Awaken My Love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
really caught between them. So at the same time as Because the Internet is written like one big story, I feel like Awaken My Love is a bunch of little ones. It's a bunch of short stories compiled in with each other, and so it's like, it's tough because it's been so classic for so long, and then for something to come and be new again and be reinventive, but also have those points in it as well where it kind of it gets you thinking at the same time. So it's brought on other feelings the more you listen to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's very similar. So Awaken My Love has been that album for me. I think that is my favorite, but I still think that Because the Internet was his defining moment.
That's fair.
It's definitely, for me, it's definitely the blueprint for like ideas and stuff he brings up in both Awaken My Love and his latest album, 3:15:20.
Yeah.
I'll touch on that a little bit, but
what do you think?
I really like Awaken My Love.
I think it got like mixed reception a little bit. I mean, I enjoyed it.
I think a lot of people. I think a lot of people have kind of dismissed it when I think it's something that we should delve into more. I mean, like the whole idea of it, like it's funny if you go back to one of the interviews during the Because of the Internet era. He especially like in Awaken My Love, he talks a little bit more about race and stuff. But like, I mean, there's one point I just wanted to, before we move on to 3:15:20, what I really love about Awaken My Love is that like Donald took the sounds that his father loved in the music he grew up with, and he remembered from his childhood, and then repackaged them in a way to bring his newborn children into the world, like a kind of like a gift for them. Because like a lot of the songs on Awaken My Love are about like him meeting his wife, him having his kids and that sort of stuff. So it's like taking like the sounds of his childhood and giving them to his kids in a new sort of way. But yeah, with 3:15:20, it's kind of a blank canvas.
Mm-hmm.
And like with that album, what he's trying to do is show that. So that's why the album cover is white. That's why all the songs are just timestamps, is because he's trying to let you put meaning into the songs yourself. He's letting you do the work rather than him doing the work like he did with Because of the Internet.
No, I get that.
And like once I'm kind of like, I guess, realizing that, I definitely think it's an album that people have been too quick to dismiss, and it's something that I think needs, I guess, further analyzation and kind of given him more of a chance. I've been listening to it a lot recently again, and
it's not something that stands out immediately as one of his best albums.
He's letting you kind of do the work.
Yeah, exactly that. So it's like you might as well have the same thing by just having tracks that are just called Song 1, Song 2, Song 3, Song 4.
Yeah,
it's like you got to give it a chance and listen to it probably. Like, again, judging the book by its cover, it's tough.
Yeah. You got to kind of let it sit with you, and especially like, I think that's why he released it around the quarantine time, was so that people can kind of sit with the album and let it kind of like brew a bit, that sort of thing. You know,
yeah. I mean, we've talked about it for a while now, and we're on an hour 6. So I think we'll try and talk about the film choice for like the last like 10 minutes or so, which was Back to the Future, directed by Robert Zemeckis. Okay, so I watched this last night in preparation. And I mean, I enjoyed it, and I hadn't seen it in ages. It's like a film. It's my mate Cameron, shout out to Cameron, it's like his favourite film of all time. So he was like, "Oh, you better like it." And I mean, I did. I enjoyed it. I think it was definitely well paced. I'm gonna go very film student, but like, it was well paced. Like, I looked at the time and I was like, "Oh shit! Like, I've already watched like at least over half of this to check like how long I had left," and it was just really interesting. What do you guys? I mean, we'll go Kusaki first. Like, why did you choose this film specifically?
Look, it's always been one of my favorite film franchises,
mm-hmm.
like of all time. I've always connected with it, like as a kid and stuff, and I just love. I don't know. It's always just been something fun for me, as well as like, you know, it kind of feels like one of those films that doesn't really age too much. Like, it still stands out and it still holds up to this day. Like, there's a lot of movies that were released kind of back then that just don't hold up to the same standard as they do now, I guess. And for me, Back to the Future still holds up to this day. It still has, you know, relatable moments in it and that sort of thing. And it kind of paints this cool picture of like not just the first one, but the whole series as a whole, of just where everything was at the time. Like, especially like the second one, showing what their predictions of the future were.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just kind of fun. But yeah. I just, it's always been a favorite of mine. And like what we were talking about before with that artist, what's his name, that recently, Cosmos Colombo Perry, that guy that does the furry drawovers of
versions of like
of
Back to the Future.
So good, and just pivotal scenes redone in that way. It's just like I love it. Really wish the film was this now.
Yeah,
so
it's like I have a DeLorean sitting next to me with 2 Daft Punk figurines on it, next to my desk. It's just I don't know. It's just one of those movies that have just always stuck with me. I love it.
No, yeah, it is sick. And I mean, shout out to Cos Perry for like the draw over of the Back to the Future stuff. Like, there's that iconic shot of the car disappearing and then turning around, like, and it's just like, I don't know, like, it looks so, I don't know, I just like them being foxes. I think it looks fucking sick.
Yeah. And you can hear that. I don't know about you, Kuzaki, but I can hear the lines being said, and I can just imagine being animated. Like the "What the hell is this?" line.
Mm-hmm.
He did another one where it was the family just around at the dining table in the morning when he wakes up after his adventure, and he's like, "What the hell is this?" It's like breakfast. It's just hilarious, and you can imagine it all coming together, and it's just so lively.
Mm-hmm.
So big shout out to that artist.
Yeah, it's so cool. I mean,
one of the biggest things for me was the score as well. The soundtrack is absolutely amazing.
It means iconic.
Absolutely iconic. Like the first thing you hear, the little twinkle of the keys. that's just called Logo. The song is just called Logo. Like they've just put together. So I think it was Alan Silvestri or something.
Yeah, Alan Silvestri.
Yeah. He's done a lot of other stuff. Like, speaking of the whole like the draw over that the artist did, this writer also did the music for Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So it's kind of like foreshadowing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so the score is amazing, and the kind of artists to come to the game as well. Like Huey Lewis and the News wrote 2 songs for it, and both of them are absolutely bangers. I'm really showing my age here, though.
Oh, he's in the movie as well. Like, remember that opening scene with the band auditions, and the guy's like, "Oh, you're too loud." That's Huey. Yeah, that's Huey Lewis.
Huey Lewis in the News. Yeah,
that's so cool.
I love that.
I didn't know that actually. It's interesting. I mean, like I said, like the pacing's nice. I think the dialogue's good. I mean, it makes you like, obviously I think the entire point of the issue with the mum like kind of fancying her son is just like it's meant to make you feel uncomfortable, and definitely didn't make you feel uncomfortable. I was like,
they do it in a good way,
but like in a kind of like, no, don't do it, kind of like cliffhangery kind of like tension kind of way, not kind of like, ew, I want to turn this off kind of way, like. But it's interesting.
And I love the almost kind of tongue-in-cheek jokes, like with the fact that like they end up calling Marty like Calvin Klein because his name was written on his underwear, and just little stuff like that where it's like, you know, it's just, it's always just, that always just makes me laugh every time.
And I mean, I wanted, as soon as I finished the first film, I wanted to watch the second one, but at that point it was like 12:30, and I was like, I need to be up tomorrow to record this podcast episode. So, but that just goes to show that it's obviously, I've just finished watching a 2-hour film, and now I want to watch another 2-hour film.
We want more.
So, and just because of how it is paced, you just want to go on to the next one straight away.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of the second one, I know one of my all-time fashion grails, and I know this is the same for Kahlua, the Nike Air Mags from the second one.
Air Mags.
Yeah, shit.
$25,000 pair if you want them. They're on StockX. You can look it up. You can buy a pair if you want.
I was going to talk about
they are self-lacing?
Because like specific popular people got, like specific famous people, like Casey Neistat, Caveman got some, didn't he? He got he got a pair.
Yeah, they auction. So the reason why they're so hard to get is they auction them off for the Michael J. Fox Parkinson's Foundation.
Yeah, shit, yeah.
So that's But what's also crazy is so there's a Netflix doco you guys should both watch called Art of Design, and there's an episode on Tinker Hatfield. Mm-hmm. So he designed pretty much the whole Air Max line, pretty much most of the Air Jordan line, but he designed the Nike Air Max for the movie, and as well as doing the actual shoes that they really produced. And the day that they gave Michael J. Fox the first pair was the exact day that they go to the future in the second one.
Oh, wow.
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy almost. So
it's so interesting to see, like, obviously we're kind of going on to the second film now, but like I know the scene in it is like so interesting to see, like, is it 2015 where they travel to? Is it 2015?
Yeah, 2015. It's like,
it's definitely not like that, like at all. It's like completely.
Yeah, imagine if we all dressed like that.
Just like how they assumed everything would be was way further than what we had.
Yeah, it was almost like they gave us too
much credit.
Where's
my hoverboard, dude?
Yeah, where is my hoverboard? You know? I don't know if you heard the song by Seth Century.
He's so good.
Australian rapper.
He's like, thank you for white goods technology. Thank you, science, for all of this other stuff. But
where's my hoverboard?
Where's my hoverboard?
Yeah, exactly.
We'll link it to you afterwards.
Can't you blame them though? Because it's like 80s. It's like a 30 years time difference. Like,
yeah, I think it's because at the time technology was moving ahead so rapidly that they just assumed that that's where it would be in 30 years' time.
Yeah.
Yeah, weird random fact here, but yeah, like technology's been doubling twice every year, but we're kind of getting to the point now where chips are so small that we can't go any smaller.
Yeah,
and the
that's the problem.
Only way we can go further from here is if they get. I think it's. I'm someone in the fandom that's all sciencey is gonna like correct me on this fact, but it's like I'm pretty sure if I think it's quantum computing or something, they have to get that working. to the point where you don't need like a gigantic freezer the size of like
they need to freeze it to a certain degree that they haven't it's just impossible.
Once they get that worked out, then we'll be able to get hoverboards.
They can't make it cold enough. That is what they. That's the only thing stopping them from making quantum
that's
computing.
the thing stopping them.
Is that the temperature that it requires to actually work is at the moment we just don't have it.
That's mad. But Back to the Future I enjoyed it. It was a good film. Good vibes.
Kuzaki, have you played the games?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. If you haven't played the games, if you want to go extra and further into this, recommend after watching the movies, download the games. They're pretty cheap on Steam, and they found it's not Michael J. Fox as the voice actor, but they found a dude that sounds 110% exactly like him.
Yeah, you'd be if you didn't think it was him, like after hearing that, you're like, that just sounds spot on.
Freaking on the money.
Just a little like kind of insert. So what I'm going to be doing, I've decided is, if any of you furry film nerds out there that might have a Letterboxd account, I'm going to be starting to rank all the films that we talk about on the show. Obviously, there's not really much point now because it's just going to be one film on the list. But after a few weeks, I'm going to probably make the list. Yeah, you win. Number one. Number one.
We won.
But I'm probably going to be compiling a list of all the films and like ranking them. So if you want to check out my Letterboxd, I'll put it in the YouTube link below. I think we're on 1 hour 17. Holy shit. I did not expect to talk this long, but I mean, that's great. I'm glad.
Good.
I was worried that it was only going to last like 10 minutes. We got so I'm glad that we've like extensively talked about everything. If you guys want to check out KusakiDesu's and GucciFeline's arts, that's their arts. Maybe don't check out some of them if you're under 18, please, because it's like no minors, but check out their stuff, check out that kind of creative stuff, get the stuff out there. If you want to check me out, at HypeBeastDan, subscribe to the YouTube and follow on the Spotify and the podcasts and stuff. Make sure you're updated when the next episode comes out. I'm thinking of updating every Friday. So this one, hopefully, if I edit it in time and I get it all sorted, this should be coming out Friday. We're recording on Sunday right now, but hopefully that'll be sorted. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming on. I really appreciate, first episode. So I appreciate you guys kicking it off.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Really nice. It's really nice to be.
I really enjoyed it.
For the fandom,
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Same.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much for listening, everyone, and I'll see you guys in the next episode next week. I'll see you guys later.
Peace.